Well, maybe Queensland do get it. Maybe it's right after all these years, 45 years, and they won exactly the way they're supposed to win and the way New South Wales always seem to lose. We'll get to the game in a second, but I want to get to some office politics to start. Sean Ormerod, Joel Caine. We had a Zoom meeting, a mid-season review with our management. I passed with flying colours, so I was quite happy with proceedings. There was a message sent mid-meeting. One person on this panel accused another person on this panel of being a company man. Now, here's my allegation. That was sent to the group chat. I don't think that was meant for the group chat.
What?
I think that was meant as a private. I'm just putting it out there. I'm wondering. I'm questioning. Was that meant for the group chat? Or was that meant as a little snide? This person doesn't normally send these snide, he's not a backstabber. But I'm just thinking in the heat of the moment, Joel, do you think that text message was sent accidentally into the group chat?
Was it accidentally sent? No.
Into the group chat?
No, I didn't get that.
Team first mentality. Because we all carry the same sentiment. And when you have these honesty meetings, and the meetings are fine, we're flying, and all of a sudden I'm getting the barbs. And I found that I was on my own. Sorry, you were there. You were there.
Whoa. I said everything that I've said.
I was standing, you were there, in the words of NXS.
Yes.
But the two worlds colliding,
Yeah.
there was one person who was just saying, let these guys self-cannibalise. And I will swoop upon as Captain Company Man.
Couple of things.
You've got to worry about these people, folks. You all go to work and you've got to worry. People want honesty sessions.
You go to battle together. Go to battle together.
Yes. And when the same person holds the same sentiment, but when it comes to the crunch, folks.
Two things. When you're trying to get a word in with two such sort of big vocal, strong-willed sort of, strong bucks.
It's our fault.
Hard to get a word in. Two, I like to stick to meeting agendas.
Oh.
And where it was going.
Agenda is aptly named.
Wasn't on the agenda. So I was quite happy just to
Let's circle on this. Yes. That's just, I didn't even pick it up. It was him that sent the message. I just thought.
No, that was directed for the group.
And listen, I believe that.
It wasn't directed to the group. It was directed to the group, and it was directed at you for being you were being a company man.
Was I passive?
Not being a company man.
Was I passive like New South Wales last night? Was I?
You've been very vocal behind the scenes, but when it came to what we had to talk about, you were running for the hills.
I've made my points very
There's
clear.
only one because I spent so little time in the world of office politics. I actually don't mind those meetings once they're over. In that. It's my little foray into that world.
You know why? Why he's brought this whole thing up? Because the words charismatic was used when describing our hosts. Yes.
No, it's not why I brought it up.
Can I ask you
there
this,
is a reason I brought it up.
Like, I do regret how passionate I was, and it's kind of me. And I'm going, why am I dying on this hill? Like, why? And I'm trying. Like, I am passionate, Dan, as you are, very passionate in the vocation which you do. But then sometimes I think, pick your battles. Like, he just picked his battle, and he's too smart. He's smarter than both you and I.
You're not letting
and that's
go,
why.
are you?
And that's why.
It's a thorn in the side.
And that's why when this podcast celebrates 30 years, you and I won't be here. He'll be here.
Wow.
Wasn't some of the feedback that maybe the preamble to the start of the show was going a little bit too long, and we're guilty of it once.
See, now he's doing it again. So he's back on the company man.
I take feedback.
But there was my attitude to the office meetings, and this goes for everyone with their own office meetings, as long as you come out of it still with a job, you can say anything you want to me. I don't particularly care. But some others, very, very particular about taking an insult about things that were said. You still have the job. Who cares?
But the best part was, and I will say, it's a true meeting if no post-it notes are needed.
Yeah, no, we don't.
There was no post-it notes.
We
there was
don't do
no
that
butcher
sort of
paper. It was... And hello to you, Jace. He said give it to us straight. We did.
No question. Well, you think 2 out of 3 of us gave it to us straight. Anyway, if you notice...
one?
I gave it straight.
Oh, okay.
You're not accusing me of doing him.
No,
I said everything that I wanted.
I thought you were saying 2 out of the 3 as if I was dragging you into my...
No,
diatribe.
No. I said everything I wanted to say.
Yes.
But if you just notice a fissure between the 3 of us, now you've seen where the little crack was formed. Next time, I'm going to secretly record the Zoom meeting.
That would rate.
Oh, wouldn't it? The green room.
Oh.
We'll call it the green room. All right. More importantly, I hope you're watching 360 on, when do you do that show? Tuesday night, because Joel Caine delivered this absolute corker.
I want to talk about Tommy Dearden briefly. Queensland are 650 to win the series. You can't tell me if the biggest change they've made is basically Tommy Dearden to halfback. If they win the series at 650, he's $61 for the Walter.
Big chance.
Gordy, give me strength.
Big
$61 bucks.
I'm on to it now.
It's on the feed. So I've got a few bets on the feed. If you want to copy that, that's the easiest way to do it.
That's a good
$61
sweet
bucks.
spot.
It's a sweet spot, all right. By the way, you were 25 when you won your Clive, Gordy.
June 11.
Wasn't last Tuesday.
June 11.
It was weeks and weeks ago. Played.
My
Watch.
is
That's what it
broken
is.
at the moment. But twice a day, that will still be right.
Don't
see,
pretend to be
the
humble.
humble,
Don't
here we
pretend to
go.
be humble. I've been on your side the whole podcast.
Go,
Don't
Tommy
pretend.
Dearden.
Problem is, he had to bet by force with someone else. It's a ticket. Can't find the ticket.
But quickly.
And didn't get those odds. Let me
much
assure you.
less.
If he's bet with the ticketed people, much less odds.
Just quickly,
Much
the
less.
proof is right there in the pudding. This is exactly why, Dan, you must be following us on the feed. We're getting closer and closer to the final series.
Yeah.
This is the good stuff, mainly from Joel, to be fair. This is why you have to follow the feed. It's simple.
Yeah. And if you can bet with Sportsbet, which some can't because there could be seen to be a, what do they call that, a conflict of interest.
Conflict.
Yes, we are
You
restricted.
are lucky because
we are
for
restricted.
those who got $61, poor old Jolie boy might have got about $41.
That's all right. I don't think we'll be. I don't think there'll be people with their hats out.
Violins getting played.
Correct. It was a spectacular series from him. I mean,
Wow.
I'm trying to think last night where that will fit in sort of the pantheon of great performances.
The Pantheon, yeah. Well, it's right up there, isn't it? It was an 11 out of 10 game.
I had a journalist come to me, and we could just watch Tom for those looking at the vision. A journalist came into the box last night and said, that's the worst series in history. And I said, why? He said, will you remember anything from that series? And I thought, that's a really interesting way to look at it. It's a negative way. You remember Dearden. I don't remember anything specific about Dearden except all the tackles and the great play. Yeah, you remember that it was the game they won 3 days after Cam Munster's dad died. But is there anything particularly about that series that will be memorable? It's a good question. I don't know.
You said journalists, were they from New South Wales? Were they New South Wales?
No, it wasn't a
neutral call.
Well, don't forget, journalists feed off negativity too, where if that journalist was from New South Wales, it's actually in their best interest for New South Wales to lose.
I'll remember that performance because all the real the individual games that go down in history, it's always a decider. He's ticked that box, and it's usually always on enemy turf as well. And he's ticked that again. That's very, very hard to do. So it's right up there in the, as you said, the pantheon of top 3, 4, 5 games. And he seems to. That's twice now where he's come into a series and had an absolute blinder.
Dan, we both called the game, but I reckon Shawnee's has nailed the moment of the match. Have you got a guess as to the moment of the match?
The tackle, who did he put into touch?
No. The moment of the match, Shawnee is all over this. Bobby Toy is about to get dragged into touch of the halfway line.
Yeah, Bobby. Jeez, come on.
He'll be Bobby, I promise you.
Oh, yeah, that was a good, mate, what a series he had.
Then he plucks it out somehow. Hammer swoops upon it.
Massive turning point. It was about to be, so they were already 8 point. It was 8-0 at that point.
Mate, that is the moment of the game.
About to get dragged into touch. It was on halfway. That's a moment that can lift a team. And all it was a little ball out the back that somehow gets scooped up. Hammer did the rest, and Tommy Dearden
That's
had
it
to
here,
be.
boys.
Well, as someone pointed out...
It's a great pass.
Yeah, and someone pointed out, Reece Walsh, no knock on him, but no fullback is there other than Hammer. Like only Hammer does what he does to feed off what Bobby Toyer did. Xavier Coates scored first, and that's 3 straight wingers. So what about this? That's the only try that a Queenslander scored first or last all series.
Oh, right.
I don't know, weird. So New South Wales first and last in Brisbane, first and last in Perth, and the last try.
The feed
in
followers,
Sydney.
we were holding a little cheeky 50-1 ticket on Harry Grant. Grant.
He was good.
He scored, but it was just halftime. I checked. I love doing this during Origin and
Yes,
grand
I do that
finals.
too.
Do you do the same thing?
Yes, I do.
So Tommy Dearden was 260 at halftime, 420 Harry Grant. I'm thinking, oh, if Harry gets another try.
Sometimes player of the match, when you get beat, you can sometimes feel a little bit aggrieved because it is a subjective award, and you can sometimes think, oh, maybe someone's given it to someone over the other unfairly. But you stand back after that Dearden game and go, you can't have any, you can't be aggrieved at all in holding a losing ticket.
Dan, you called the game. I called the game. It was great to have your company as well. Luke Predis was part of our call, SEN. You were calling for Triple M. And in my opinion, at that ground, he would be the most dominant Clive Churchill. That was one of the most dominant man of the matches, right?
Ones. That was one of the.
Who else would you say would be like that? It was just no conversation. It was just, if you didn't give it to them, you're an idiot. Tommy Dearden had to get that, didn't he?
Yeah. No, it was all over. It's a very. I'd have to go through. Thurston wasn't. I didn't think a lay down Mazier in 15. He was good. Gee, that's a very good question.
Cleary, maybe.
Yeah, Kiri was very good in one of those years. I'd have to. I'm sorry. I'd have to go
but Predis was a lay down.
Pappenhausen was particularly good, but
We paid out at Sportsbet at half time. Remember that, Sean?
Oh,
We paid out on
Cameron
Smith, narrative last game.
Yeah.
Killing it. Scored a try before half
he
time.
got into about $1.40. It was the stingiest try he's ever scored in his career. He just put his hand on it and he went into $1.40. We thought that's good enough for us. Pay him out.
Yeah,
and then all hell broke loose.
They don't do that. You notice they don't do. Kevin 07, was that the one that killed you? Who was the one that not Kevin 07?
That was election.
And that was election.
It was a US
no more
one,
early
right?
payouts when we're just feeling ourselves a little bit. I tell you who would have been feeling themselves, Sean. The Queensland 13 plus punters.
Oh, important to some. This is a big important to some. Roll the vision here, because I don't think this even got played live on broadcast. The game was over, so To'o scored in the corner. The margin is 14. The game is over. The series is over. No one cares about it. And Zach Lomax, who the game prior missed, he was 2 from 5 on that occasion. The first kick he did nail from the sideline, but he had an absolutely meaningless goal to go from 14 to 12. Important to some.
Scored off a captain's corner.
Yeah.
Catching the hammer out. That little grubber kick behind the line.
Coach's corner.
And it was sitting up with
captain's corner.
Coach's corner.
You said captain's corner. I thought
it was sitting up for Latrell, and then the ball just went away, and I was like, no.
Now, courageous from Sportsbet to put up the market for next year, $1.90 each of 2. So really gutsy stuff from Sportsbet. No.
Is there a neutral game there?
If you want to get, there will be. If you want to get 45 weeks ahead and get $1.90 odds, Sportsbet is the place to go. Will be better odds than other places, I'm guessing. I would have thought New South Wales would be favourites again next year, but
they probably will be by the time we get to game 1, and they might win game 1 and then bottle it.
Next year, where are we due? Adelaide. Beautiful city, but terrible ground for Origin. Terrible. Have you called a game there?
I have.
It's the worst.
I have.
But magnificent for cricket, and now I'm just digging a hole for myself. So, what have you brought for us today? You've brought a bit of show and tell, Sean.
Well, I have. I've done my homework. So now that it's something nice about the day after Origin, we can put it to bed and we can look forward to the NRL premiership race. We're going to weight of money. We're going to reassess where the grand final market it's at and where the punters have sort of honed in on their money. So we're working left to right in order of not current price, but in order of weight of money. So the Broncos, generally year to year, they are very well backed. Obviously the most supported team in the land. Almost 20% of money is on them. So what we've done, we've got their current price at the top, but also the average price down below, which gives you a feel of where the punters have really got one over us, or maybe that we're on the right end of the price. So the Broncos, pretty steady. The average price there is $9. Storm, well backed, but you can't do much damage at that average price of $3.40, although they have firmed up. Panthers, pretty similar, but where it gets punchy and very punchy for us is the Raiders. They're the 5th most supported team or best backed team. an average price of a tick under $21, now find themselves at $6. Now, here's the time where we get the violins out for the bookies. So of these 10 teams that are the best backed, there are only 3 that are a positive result for us.
Ooh, well done.
One of them is the Melbourne Storm. The other 2, and this is, we're pushing uphill here to try and get this home, the Sharks and the Manly Seagulls.
Oh, they're not winning.
I don't think they're winning. So we're cheering the Storm and the Storm only.
No. You're cheering the company man.
Sorry. Company
You're
man.
cheering the Storm.
Yes, company man. One and one only. And all these other losses are big, scary numbers, Dan.
Oh, what? Podcast in jeopardy scary? Or,
Not quite that.
Well, congratulations to the Sportsbet trading team. You know why? I have had an epiphany.
Company man.
Storm are morals.
Oh, wow.
Don't.
No, I'm telling you. Like last night, I was thinking about last night. We don't get to see, Dan, too many times players exposed to the biggest time. Craig Bellamy would have been walking back to the P-Way car park and he would have been going, okay, we lost. He's wearing the Blues polo. Stefano was really good. Harry Grant was really good. Yeah, Munster was really good. Yes. Coates was really good. Who else? I'm missing.
Liero.
Liero
was very good.
They are the team. So they're paying $2.70. My advice would be this, right?
Here we go. I know.
Back whoever you think's going to win the comp and then just have a little saver on the Melbourne Storm. And if you get chinned, you are very unlucky.
I thought you were going to say wait for the finals and then just back them each week.
No.
Like into it.
What do you think about my solution there? If you don't like the Storm, back whoever you want, have a saver on them at $2.70 if you somehow get chinned.
I know what you say. Yes, because the odds are, now that Melbourne are second, they're going to get a prelim at home, likely. They're going to be so hard to toss at home. They're going to be in the grand final.
Liero was awesome, Dan.
He was very
He really... I was very sceptical. Not sceptical. I was not sure about him, especially when he gave away that penalty at Magic Ground.
Yep.
Boy, he had a great series.
But calling the game, did you feel, and I asked Luke Prittis this, I said, Bruce, I said, mate, can you get me the numbers on Liero? I feel like I just keep calling his name. Did you feel like you named him a lot in that game?
Well, I found he was as busy, if not more than Yo.
Yeah.
I found that. Did you notice? I've been saying for a couple of years, weight of money graphics would be great. Was brought up in a meeting on Zoom.
A company man.
And signed off by Melbourne. That's a great idea. Gets brought in. That's all I'm saying.
That's called taking feedback on board.
Who's going to be on the show in 10 years' time when we've been given the wrist roll and company man's just sailed through?
Imagine how grey my beard's going to be in 10 years.
Roasty.
How grey it's going to be? It won't be grey. His beard. He said, how grey will my beard be by then?
Well, that part will be. He baked it in there.
Yeah.
Sunday night review show is Sunday night we've got another Sunday night game, Gold Coast and Brisbane. So this one will be straight after Maddie, first airing. So it's Gold Coast Brisbane at 6:15 on Fox League, and then Maddie, and then straight into us. I like that, John. We need to get more Sunday night footy for more reasons than one.
They call that a tailwind in the game, Dan, a ratings tailwind for us.
Is that what they call it?
That a ratings tailwind.
It used to be called a lead-in, but obviously you've brought new terminology.
That's more office lingo, a tailwind.
He'd know.
All right, very good. Let's get into the meat of the show. And we start with Cronulla versus Dolphins. This is a really interesting game. Shark Park. Geez, Dolphins, $2.31, now into $2.27. Now, they do have Cody Nikorima missing, so I guess that is the key as to why they are so wide in the market. They are 2-0 against the Sharks. Last year, Hammer scored one of the great all-time tries at Shark Park in a game they won.
Oh, that was a ripper, wasn't it?
Yeah. Sharks have lost 4 of their last 5. Home record, okay, 3-2. Top 6, 3-6, the Sharks. As long as Hammer plays, and I don't see why he wouldn't, he's the only Origin player backing up. I think the Dolphins are good value here.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been sort of tossing and turning on the Sharks for a while now, but their last 2 games have actually been okay. Now, they read as losses, but one was against the Broncos at Suncorp. They should have won that game. They were the better team on that occasion. And then they went down to Melbourne as well, and that was a Sunday, I think it was a Sunday afternoon, which we know is the Melbourne Storm. That's how they like it. And again, the scoreline didn't really reflect, the scoreline over sort of exaggerated the real sort of feeling in that game. I think it was an 18 or 20 point win in the end to the Storm, but there was a couple of tries off kicks. Katoa was wearing a cape. I don't think they're going that bad, and this is very suitable. Get to go home. That's a huge tick. unaffected basically by anyone backing up and injury as well. The hammer's the key. Again, I'm with you, Dan. Probably no reason that he won't back up, but it is a pretty short backup. You need him to be off his game 10% for it to be a real leg up. And I'm very intrigued to see how Sean O'Sullivan fits with Isaiah Katoa. I don't know how that's going to work. Cody, completely different player. They complement each other. They might butt heads here a little bit in their style of play, which is a concern for how good Katoa's been going.
Yes, it's a very good point you raised, but Joel, I think Katoa is so dominant these days. O'Sullivan just takes the Jack Cogger backseat role.
Don't worry about that, boys. They've got a great background. So they were juniors together. Peter O'Sullivan, Sean's dad, is the guy who has seen Katoa and Sean come through together, and he pinched him to the Dolphins. He was the one who got him to the Dolphins in the first time. If I'm Coach Fitzgibbon, I want the hammer to play. Like, these guys are not robots. So we're talking about a Friday 8 o'clock game.
Yeah, 2 days.
So 2 days, but you finish Origin, you and I get home, we're tired after the game, we're calling the game. These guys have played the game.
Joel, that's the 4th time you've mentioned we called the game. Okay. Can we move on? We called the game.
Yes, no, but you've got to celebrate the win, don't you?
Well, they did, yeah. Yep.
Yes. You've got to celebrate the win.
Yeah.
So if he celebrated even half-hearted, he's waking up shabby the day before the game.
We had, I've got to cut in while I've got this in my mind. So we took, now I'm going to do it. We called the game.
Oh, well done.
Right, but
That's
we took microphones down there for the dressing room, for some dressing room chat. Yeah. And I was told Billy had 3, not private, sort of with the team. Let's have 3 cheers for integrity.
Pardon?
Well, I think it was all about shots. I need to confirm this, actually, but 3 cheers for integrity.
What is that? What is that?
Well, as if, people took shots at us and on radio and on TV and let's have 3 cheers for integrity. That was the way it was reported to me.
Gotcha. Have we seen
proof of that?
So do I. Frankly, so do I.
That is awful.
And I'm glad I've said that on the podcast version and not the TV version because I really would like to. But it was 2 people told me who were in the room. So I believe them. I just want more context.
I would only do this on the podcast version as well, and I'm sure this happened, and this is why I get concerned about Queensland. You won an Origin series, and you must celebrate it. You should celebrate it. Every NRL coach should get them around it. But remember last time they won an Origin series under Billy, and holding court up there in Queensland was the great man, Alfie Langer.
Birthday.
And they're trying to him out. And he goes, it was the result. He goes, who wants 6 more songs? 6 more songs. And they go, who wants 6 more songs? And then he goes, he did a big shake. and, mate, that would have happened last night for sure. Or this morning, should I say.
Yeah, it'd be this morning.
So I'll be shocked if the hammer's there. And
Trey Fuller has made his way, so he's played 2 games back in Q Cup. He's just lingering around the extended bench there for pretty good reason. So
if I'm Craig Fitzgibbon, honestly, I'd want the hammer to play fatigued rather than a fired-up Trey Fuller with an opportunity. That's just me.
Word on Billy, apart from that press conference in Perth where he invoked Paul Green, it's a pretty perfect series.
Yeah, buddy.
You got to actually say every selection he got.
Yeah, he made some big calls.
Like, you think of all the risks he took, hammer at fullback. Beautiful.
Yep.
Obviously, Tommy Dearden coming in, but every positional decision he made was bang on. Now, Sharks left centres. I mean, we're still waiting for KL Iro so he can continue his streak, Joel.
Yeah, Shawnee actually put me into this. So KL Iro has this magnificent streak, has not missed this year, won't miss this year, obviously, because of injury. But as Shawnee pointed out, it's not just KL Iro. 14 tries from 16 games to the left centres. Hiroti scored there, Talakai scored there. And I'm hoping the hammer plays, boys, because we did the coach's corner for Origin. We said you can get them with a kick behind the line and catch a hammer. They actually did that. It just didn't sit up for Latrell Mitchell right at full time there as To'o swept across it. Last 2 games they've played, the opposing left centre has scored 2 tries. Jack Whiten scored 2 the week before that in Perth. Bradman Best got 2. So Talakai for me, boys, big play in this.
Okay, very good. And Sean takes away
short ball for the flair bet. I'm actually very big on the Sharkies here. I'm leaning towards a big victory. So 13 plus. The left defensive edge of the Dolphins, I'm going to have question marks over in this game. So it's going to be Herbie and Jake Gavrilo defending on a wing. I've got concerns about that. We know Kennedy likes that big left to right play. Sione Katoa on the right edge anytime is a little double there for me.
All right,
Fisherman.
$4.20 there. That's Friday night Shark Stadium. Why are we calling it Shark Stadium?
Yeah, why is that?
Now, I think they're waiting for a sponsor, right?
Park.
Well, can we just call it Shark Park when you get your gambling partner a sponsor again, or whoever it is, then call it such and such stadium.
They're not fooling anyone by calling it a stadium, are they? It's not really a stadium.
Yeah, but when you do the official broadcast, you have to call it by the bloody name.
When
Like, do you really think I get
11,000
joy out of
average.
calling it Four Pines Park? Oh, well, Cronulla Shark Stadium is not fit for NRL, but Saturday. Let's get to the Saturday games. And we start here. Newcastle-Melbourne kicks us off. Very big odds for Newcastle. Melbourne backing up. You got 5 players backing up. Fletcher Hunt is fullback for Newcastle. Hastings, the number 6 for them. So obviously still no Ponga. My memory of this matchup, Newcastle always give Melbourne trouble in Newcastle. Whether they win or not is sometimes neither here nor there. Newcastle's form's not that bad. 1 loss in their last 6. They're defending well. Melbourne's won 5 straight. Backing up after Origin, though, is the real fly in the ointment here.
I've got the numbers there, Dan, actually.
Off you go.
So the Melbourne Storm, their last 7 games, for immediately after Origin, they have won. They have won by an average margin of 11 points. But in saying that, this is a trappy danger game. Pat pulled out last week, late. Origin affected both coach and players and general manager Frank Panisi. They've been from Townsville back home. Now they go to Newcastle. Newcastle owe their fans. This is upset o'clock. Big ends. Greg Marzu comes back. Leo Thompson. So if you're a Newcastle Knights player, you look around the sheds. Oh, we're looking better all of a sudden. I'm telling you, this is a massive trappy game.
Yeah, it'd usually be like an absolute textbook play for me. Home underdog, which you know I love. But look, just without Ponga and Fletcher Sharp in that side, it's really hard to see
Hey, some Try July.
where they get their points from. And hats off to Melbourne Storm as well. They really got around Try July. We saw Big Nelson taking
well
a selfie. These boys, I'm not too sure what they're doing there. Some sort of synchronised swimming, Dan. This one was a big one. And now we're 3 middle-aged blokes. I'm not really sure what this is, but apparently it's a TikTok trend, Dan.
Yeah, I knew about the canoes.
or a farming.
Look at the smiles, though, boys.
They're very happy.
That's rugby league. Look
They're
at the
very
smiles.
happy. Which again, like the Storm are humming, and when they really hum is afternoon footy. That scares me against the Newcastle side that cannot really score points with the spine that they're running out with. The key is the backups. If the Storm boys do back up, I can't be near Newcastle, unfortunately.
You brought up after Origin this year, 2 games, beat South, beat Gold Coast. They were nowhere near their best either time, but they won.
Yep.
They found a way to win. As it's named, all the Origin players, Liero, Munster, Grant, Utoy Kamanu's in the 17. Coates is not named, but the other 3 are outside the 17. I suspect there'll be Grant will be starting probably from the bench. Which makes me go this way. Munster will start if he plays. I don't think Munster will play.
I reckon none of them play.
Munster won't play.
No, none of them play.
And we're recording this at midday on Thursday, so you're probably working with more information than me. Grant shouldn't play. And Liera, I tell you what, he probably needs a break as well. So
I think none of them play.
maybe the fact that they won last week in Townsville, it was almost a bonus
Yeah.
pre-Origin. They kind of don't need to win this because they're going to play Canterbury for second spot down the track if they don't shake them off beforehand. So I've got Newcastle half-time, Melbourne full-time. We're all sceptical here. Newcastle, I think Melbourne are going to start slow. I think we all agree on that. I just think they might find whatever they need to get the job done. That's
$4, I think, at the price is one of the bets of the year.
for Newcastle, heads up.
Yep.
St George, calling this game, and I'm looking forward to it actually. St George Illawarra and Roosters at Cogra, rematch of Anzac Day, which the Roosters dominated, but it's at Cogra where the Dragons have a 2-1 record. Roosters $1.52. Roosters, it's a good-looking team, particularly with Sam Walker back. Be interesting if he brings some ring rust with him. Bobby Toya is returning. So Nwanga on the wing. I noticed we've lost our chance of Nwanga $1.56 now.
Yeah, he's gone.
$1.56 now anytime try score. We had our fun.
Yep.
Leading.
What an athlete.
Number one on Try July is at the moment $18 on the feed. 1 week in, 4 to go. So just we're in a nice little position here. One man that loves playing the Dragons, the man in number one for the Roosters.
Loves playing the Dragons. What about this run here, folks? He just keeps scoring against the Dragons. A double, a single, a double, single, single, double. This guy owns the Dragons. So he'll take them on. And again this year in April, that famous milestone day in Australian on the Australian calendar, in those famous jumpers, he does this.
He did it again. He just keeps on doing it. Bloody hell, he's in good form as well. The man crusher just sort of percolates this time of year, Dan. He's absolutely flying. And I think if the Roosters will be seething for losing that game last week, and I know they were missing all their Origin players. That man was there. If they run out probably as named, and again, we've still got to wait for some backup news, I'm pretty keen on the Chooks here to do a bit of a number.
This is a must-win.
Yeah, it is.
Have you seen their draw?
Yeah.
It's probably the toughest
It's
of all
punchy.
those teams. Melbourne twice. And there's another couple of... they've got Canterbury, I think, in there at some point as well.
And even the last game, which is traditionally South, it doesn't matter where they are on the ladder.
It's
a
not
big
a
game.
tap-in, is it? Yeah.
So Connor Watson, he should be fine. Lindsay Collins had a great Origin.
He had a good,
should be fine. Didn't play big minutes. Spencer didn't play big minutes.
Well, it's not the minutes in the game that you're worried about. It's the minutes in the booze of post-game that is the big issue here. So can he back up from those minutes?
Yeah.
That's what we've got to wait and see.
So I'm looking here. They've got Manly at Brookie. Now, it is at Brookie. This is the Roosters. Dolphins at Suncorp. Well, Dolphins will be favourites for that. Oh, well, maybe not. Sharks next week could be a top 8 playoff.
They
7
spanked them
weeks
up in
early.
Gloucester, didn't they?
Is that a 4-point game?
The traditional
We're getting there.
game.
Say it early.
Have we done our flair on this game?
The flair for me, pretty simple. Let's go back to the James Tedesco who he is going to win this. Now the fact that Metcalf's out of the race, he's going to win this Dally-M so comfortably,
Oh,
folks.
he's a lay down, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah. Love that.
Man,
Shook.
you can't make those statements. It's round 18. We're 2/3 of the way through.
might have
We've
done
still got
enough
a third
already.
left.
We can because you can't bet on it, so it doesn't matter. So we'll
I
say
understand.
it doesn't really.
I understand.
Who could jump out of the clouds to chase him?
Well, it's got to be someone who's been in pretty good form, but they've got to get a real hot streak. I'm just reading. It's from a country I didn't know existed. I just got a phone message. You love getting those. To answer your question, Joel, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
North Queensland versus Canterbury, Saturday, 7:30. Tricky. Cowboys are a funny team. They're a heartbreak team this year. That was there for them against Melbourne, but they just couldn't get it done. Dogs still trying to find their way. Galvin at 17 again. Burton and Sexton, the 6 and 7. Jacob Preston plays his 50th. Geez, am I doing the flair? No, if I did, I'd have Preston any time, but it wouldn't be $3, so it wouldn't qualify.
It is one of those.
If the
games.
Dogs play the way they play, they'll win this game because they are more accountable than the Cowboys.
Yeah, and I think the result against the Broncos, where they lost almost the unlosable game, leading very, very comfortably, but they lost that game as opposed to Broncos winning. They dropped the ball galore in that second half. I think they'll be stinging from that. I just want to go through. They're a yin and yang team facing off each other here. So we'll start with the Cowboys attack. We've got some attacking numbers here. We know that they love to move the ball around early, and they've scored. They're ranked 5th from tries scored long range. So when they start a set from within their own 20, they've scored 18 tries so far this year, ranked 5th. That's very good. But they're exceeding where their ladder position is on these metrics as well. Line breaks per game, ranked 7th. That's pretty good. Ball run meters per game, ranked 7th. Again, pretty good. But then you go to the defensive juggernaut that is the Bulldogs, and we look at the exact same metrics. Tries conceded long range.
Wow.
They don't concede any. They're ranked 1st. Line breaks conceded per game. They don't concede any, ranked 1st. And ball run meters conceded per game. They just don't give anyone any territory. They're ranked 1st for run meters conceded. So I always tend to lean towards defence will usually overcome an attacking weapon. And I think the Dogs are in for a big bounce back game here, particularly in the attacking column as well. Burton, he's flying at the moment. And my flair, we may as well get straight to it. We're zigging and zagging, Shug. Bulldogs 13 plus.
Love it.
But into the under.
Love
Oh!
Under.
Shorty,
okay.
pop that on the feed. That's
on the feed,
I'll copy that myself.
So unders 48, this is where I do my maths here, and you work out, well, how many does that mean the Cowboys can score? I could guess they can't score 16, might be the maximum there. Yeah, 16's as many as the Cowboys can score. They've conceded 20 plus in 9 straight, the Cowboys. Bulldogs, I like this stat, the bottom 9, 18 wins in a row. 18 wins in a row against bottom 9 teams. That's teams that either didn't play finals last year or aren't in the top 8 this year.
And that's a thinly veiled way of calling them.
I'm not calling them flat track bullies. No. Just
what do I think about the game? Thanks for asking. The reason I'm...
Well, he went to his flair first.
I know. At the top of the show, where Dan Ganane, he is under time pressures, I had a point to make.
Yes.
So I had to scratch it out. And I went, okay, I'm still getting my point in. I went to the Canberra game.
Get it in this time.
I want to raise this seriously. Have New South Wales erred, and I know this player makes no part of the game, but it is the mindset, why was Jacob Kiraz the 18th man?
Our tinfoil hat theory didn't come off.
No, but why? Like in the fair dinkum
Because Toto wasn't fit.
Because Toto wasn't fit?
No. And
That's
he was
fine.
still good while not being
Okay,
fit.
so then why is Bradman Best there? Why can't you have Burton? So why was Burton not part of the 3? I think we've got too clever, we've got too cosy, because Burton had to be the 18th man. Does that sort of signal it? Like, Kiraz was not the 18th man.
Well, it wouldn't have mattered. I mean, we didn't use it. I know what you're saying.
No,
You're right.
But does it show a kind of a little bit of pressure from the Bulldogs, perhaps?
I think that.
That's probably more to the point. But I don't know. It's a stretch in any case to join 2 dots that it really matters.
The point is,
Well,
though, are we buttoned up enough? This is the biggest game of the year, just about Sands Grand Final, maybe including the Grand Final. Why was Burton not the 18th man? He had to be the 18th man. Yes, we didn't need Kiraz.
It's 45 weeks till game number 1 next year. Could I please get to Warriors? Yes, I've got 5.5 minutes to get to 2 games and an extra flair.
Okay.
I'm trying to be a good host here.
Okay, come on.
You know, we're on TV. We're trying to be professional here. Tane Tuau-Picky is the fullback for the Warriors. I bet we're all on the same page here. Tanner Boyd, the number 7. No Luke Metcalf. Wateni Zalesniak is back. Joel and I both saw the Tigers in person and they were most impressive. Luai is set to play. That's a tough trip, though, to New Zealand. Go, Sean. I think we're all going to... Oh, well, maybe we're not.
Well, you insinuating that we're all
going to be on the underdog here.
We're all on the underdog. Yeah, sign me up, West Tigers. When they play West Tigers footy, they're very, very good. Now we think Luai, well, he needs to back up. Yeah. He needs to go back to his club and have a big game, and I think he's going to do that. I am very, very, very keen on the West Tigers here, Dan Ganane.
Yeah, I'm unsure here, boys. One thing I'll say, though, is the Canadian Dolphins who do the draw, you can't keep giving Warriors home games immediately after Origin. We saw it with the Panthers. We're seeing it
You
here.
can if you're trying to rig it.
Yeah, but where the West Tigers have got a big concern here, whilst they did win the game, the Roosters, every time they went down the right-hand side, they were just having a lot of fun. Now, keeping in mind, Taruva would normally be there, right? So he's gone back to fullback. There's Taruva there. I thought he did a great job defensively as a fullback, but I'd be looking for Tom Rodwell's a debut, should change hands here. Gets a nice pass back in nonetheless. But I think a bloke like Wateni Zalesniak could be in for a day, boys.
How's he playing? It looked like he was out for the year when he went down with that injury, Dallin, but he's resurrected to come back here.
You know what? Warriors, after what they did for the competition, I'm happy for them getting a few little
cheeky.
I think I'm okay with that for a few years. You're going to have to be okay with this because I got the flair. I looked at this. Tigers were $3.10. So obviously the money's come in. Yeah, I know what you don't. Can I finish my point? It's now $2.93, which
of question marks
does
over the
not
price
beat the
there.
flair rules. Gibbo, our producer, texted me this morning, $2.93, and I thought, well, okay, I'll pick my own line plus 1.5. And then I thought, how stupid is that? Just to get it to $3. $2.90. He had a $2.60 thing the week I was away, and this palooka let him get away with it.
I'm okay with it, Dan.
There's a 10-cent grace period, all right? I'll give you that.
I'm not worried about the... At one point during the week, it was over the $3.
Take it to the local derby, will you?
Parramatta, thank you. Parramatta versus Penrith. Parramatta home game, not that it matters. Combank. Tasty odds. Parramatta, $3.42. Talender Silva makes his Eels debut. Junior Barlaw, 200th game as an Eel. If Bailey Simonson plays, he's on the extended bench, 100th game in first grade for him. Penrith, Dane Laurie, fullback. Talangi and Schneider, the named halves. Penrith are going to, obviously, all their Origin guns are outside the 17, so there's going to be a lot of changes there. Penrith had trouble putting Parramatta away only a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
They did, but that has ignited their season. So in the past 5 years with their grand final runs, they've been averaging 12, 13, 14 points per game. The first 12 rounds of this competition, almost 25 points per game. Since that Parramatta game in round 13, they're back to that 12 number. So I think they are back. I'll give you the flair before I go to you, Shawnee. Casey McLean had a one-on-one event against Stephen Crichton, and he was very good. Scored in this clash in round 13. I think he scores, and I think the Panthers cover the line.
You're with the Panthers. Yeah, I mean, we have to wait and see who is backing up. But again, the majority, like Luai, Cleary has to go back to club and have a big game and forget about Origin quickly and move on with the year, like we're all doing, punting as well. However, Combank's still a big factor here, and it's a massive advantage for Parramatta. And I like the little plus 9.5 there.
Wow.
Yeah. Post-Origin, Penrith's record is very good. Here's a stat, 40% of the tries they concede to wingers. What about this one for Melbourne? I forgot to read out. 66% of tries they concede, wingers or centres. 2/3. Like the NRL average is under 50%, 66%. But anyway.
But you know what? You think about, sorry, Dan, but you think about those good teams. Penrith, Melbourne have the same numbers. Billy Slater with Queensland. We talk about how many goals New South Wales missed.
The better teams concede their tries out wide.
And again, like the New South Wales tries through Origin were mostly really out wide.
Right on the touchline.
Yep.
Joel may have had a good week with Tommy Dearden, and I'm glad it happened because he basically had another long shot buried this week when Jesse Arthurs wasn't named in the 7th seed for Brisbane. I mean, and it was done so tortuously. Moved away from the left wing to the right wing. Now he's not even in the 17. Dean Mariner is in. Gold Coast versus Brisbane is the Sunday night game, another Sunday night. I think Brisbane might put the cleanest through him here. I know that doesn't sound like a bold prediction, Joel, but it's post-Origin. Gold Coast, funny record against Brisbane. They smashed Brisbane at Seabus last year. Your thoughts very quickly.
Can't beat them, join them. The dream's over. Jesse has painted that
This is twice
picture.
you've done these now.
Yeah.
You just put the white flag up, haven't you?
Yeah, just like Katapani, 2 or more. Go on. Just keep putting that little acupuncture into the eyeballs for Jolly Boy.
Broncos win and win big.
Yeah, I think so too. That is, we did it. We made it. There's the review show. It is 9:20 on Sunday after Sunday night and then Matty Johns. So we're after the first live airing at Matty Johns. We'll have our best bets right after this. It's Get 'em Onside. A couple of bits of housekeeping. Don't forget the feed. You'll get that $61 Tom Dearden Wally Lewis Medal type bet on the feed. Follow the three of us. Also, if you want the full podcast, we get into some company politics this week. It's on YouTube, KO, our regular pod as well, plus all the regular previews. But most importantly, it's time for this. And we start with Sean.
First game of the week for me, Sharkies minus 3.5. There's 3 factors here. The Finns pack still very light. That's a Sharks big tick. Their recent form as well, the Sharkies, been okay despite 2 losses. Should have beat the Broncos. And were pretty good against the Melbourne Storm. I don't mind that. And I've got a doubt about Sean O'Sullivan coming in.
All right, you see my hand winding up, Seano.
Knights at the line, and I'm posting on the feed now, boys. Our multi, our best bet multi.
Oh, my anchor again. Well, I'm carrying you, blokes, but I'm sick of being the anchor. Warriors, Tigers. I just don't see where the Warriors have got points. They might win, but $1.89 for the under. I think it's about 46.5. That's it. Do your investing very wisely. We'll see you Sunday night, 9:20 after Matty Johns, plus all the usual podcast platforms. See you then. Get 'em onside.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.